That's not English, Brian. It's German.
So what I told you is true, from a certain point of view.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to A Certain Point of View. We are live on a Monday evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope everyone's doing fantastic out there. We are back. We are live for another show here on POV. We have a very cool discussion for you all tonight. Sequel discussion. Not so much sequels that we've seen, but sequels that we want to see, which we will be getting into a little bit later in the show. We're going to be talking some Echo. We're going to be talking some It Follows. And we're excited to have you all with us. So as you can see, it's just Jill and Molly with me once again on the show. Ladies, how are we doing today?
Hello. Good. It's
Hello.
a Monday. It's a Monday. I am crying sick this week.
Okay.
So I got stuff to do this week. So crying sick for the week of work.
Like
Does
you
that
took the
mean
week
you're
off?
off or
No, I'm working, but I'm not going in the office.
Oh, nice.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's exciting. I'm jealous.
No, just needed a week to just kind of.
is
Take the week.
your work from home job, is that one that like you have to like move the mouse every so often?
No.
Do they know that you're there? Oh,
No,
okay.
because my company is full of adults who don't need
Sure.
to monitor their adult coworkers.
That's good.
So no, yeah, it's great. Yeah. So I can if I my boss was out sick for 3 weeks last week, and there were some instances where I was asking her a question and she's like, "Oh, sorry, I fell asleep." What? An hour later. Cool.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
They're
That's very nice.
yeah, they're super chill. But yeah, I had to go and get my COVID shot tomorrow. So
Yes.
also need some time to recoup from that, most likely. So
I was going to ask Jill, you're taking a sick week per se, but you're still working from home. Is it a week just to relax, or are you being productive?
Little column A, little column B.
Okay.
More so, I would like to be productive.
Okay.
But probably not going to be as productive as I would like to be.
Got it. Okay.
Story of my life.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
And Molly, how are you recovering? You had quite the camping weekend.
Yeah, we had a fun little weekend away in the woods, camping for 2 nights, and it was really nice. And it was maybe not as restful as we imagined because of how cold it got at night. We were just really questioning our decision the first night, but we stuck it out and stayed. The next night wasn't as cold, but it was getting into the high 30s, which for me, I was like, okay, how many layers of clothing did I bring? I'm going to put them all on and sleep in all of them, which I did. But yeah, it was really fun. And then we got back and I took the most glorious shower I think I've ever taken in my life.
Best. Those are the best. After just being out and gross and in dirt and wilderness, there's nothing like a nice shower after that.
Yeah, it was amazing. But yeah, me and Alex have kind of dirt lung today, or I have ash nose, where we sat by the campfire for so long, my nose just filled with ash, and so I've been sneezing all day today. But it was fun. And today also I've just been sadly cleaning up all of the Halloween decorations and putting them away.
You can see the background, it's half done. I
didn't really.
Grogu's not a witch anymore.
Grogu's not a witch. I didn't really do much in here, but yeah, I don't have my other lights on, and Grogu took his costume off.
Does Grogu have a Thanksgiving costume, or does it just go straight to Christmas?
He doesn't have one yet.
Is he a little turkey?
I could be.
You can make him a pilgrim.
To make him one with a little buckle hat.
Yeah, a little buckle hat on top.
Buckle hat. Buckle hat.
I was gonna ask Molly, when you guys go camping, do you guys just go to stay around the campsite, or do you go to do stuff?
So we like went on a couple walks because there's a couple trails around, but it's very just chill. Like
Okay.
we just get up, cook over the fire, start drinking,
Yeah.
hang out. I read for a while in the hammock, and it was really nice.
You read with all those boys around? You were able to read?
Well, yeah, because like midday they all got sleepy and took naps, sort of. Well, some of them took naps, and some of them were just like sitting around contemplating life.
I'm biting my hair. Why did I choose to do this?
They were talking about like Mark was there, so they were talking about Vietnam and like tanks and stuff. So it was pretty easy.
Oh, jeez.
Mark brought these like war. I don't know what they were. He's not watching, but they were like some kind of books about war and tanks, and he was reading those and talking about them. I was like,
The perfect thing to bring
Hey.
on a camping trip. Books
Yeah.
about tanks. Sounds about right.
but it was fun, and like we cooked a lot just over the fire. A lot of people brought snacks and stuff, but we were like, we're gonna cook our food over the fire. It was great.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Oh, well, shall we get into it, ladies? We have 3.
How was your weekend, Jake? Don't ignore it.
Sorry, my weekend was eventful. We took Bo to his first brewery on Saturday.
Baby's first brewery.
Yeah, brewery
Yay.
baby. Spent a couple hours there. Gabby was able to have her first drink.
Woo!
Postpartum, which she was very happy about. She said the beer didn't taste any better. It was just everything it could have been.
Woohoo.
And then Sunday, I think we just hung out at home. Yeah, pretty sure we just hung out at home. Honestly, I lose track of so much stuff now. Like everything just kind of
Valid.
blends. Like I don't know if yesterday was last Thursday or Friday was yet. Like
That's
it's
fair.
just it's all blending together. I know we ordered sushi in Friday night, stayed in,
Yum.
watched some shows. Saturday did the brewery stuff, and I believe yesterday we spent the day here. Yeah, so just another baby-filled weekend, which is what all my weekends will be. So.
Yep, I was gonna say don't. That's your life now, baby.
I will happily take that.
Good.
I've also been reeling. Have you guys been reeling from daylight savings time, like I have?
I don't want to talk about it because I was really mad. I was really mad
can't-
about it.
It got dark at like 5 o'clock here, and I was like, no.
See, that doesn't bother me. What bothered me is that I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm going to sleep in on Sunday. Plus, I get the extra hour of sleep. This is going to be great. I woke up at 5:30.
Yeah.
I was so pissed. I was so mad.
Ugh.
Stupid.
We had an interesting experience with that because I had no idea it was going on. Like, no clue it was happening. And we got up to feed Bo around like 1 or 2 a.m. And I went to bed, and it was the same exact time I woke up.
Oh, so you were like, wait, did I feed him? Did I dream this?
Yeah,
what
like
alternate reality am I in?
completely lost time. It was crazy.
You were like, wait, this baby brain is getting to be too much. Where did the
Real
time just go?
Real life baby brain.
Yeah, I guess the darkness doesn't really bother me too much, but like the animals having to adjust. They don't know about daylight savings time, and so of
they
course
should.
Pippin,
Come on, Hilo, get educated on daylight savings time.
at 4 o'clock, Pippin was like, "What the hell, guys? Where's my dinner?" I was like, "Nope, not time yet."
Because cats are like clockwork with that. They're like, hello. Tapping at their empty bowl. They're like, what is this? Hello. Where is it?
Have you seen that orange cat on TikTok that just like does this on its bowl and makes a bunch of noise?
No.
Stares at its owners.
Like, hello.
It's funny.
Why is this empty?
All right, so while I have the minute, I'm going to segue us into the first topic in case I have to mute myself. So, Echo, Marvel finally dropped the first trailer for Echo, and this show has kind of been all over the place. There's been delays, there's been question marks, when it's coming, is it finished, everything. We officially have the word. We have a first look. It's dropping all of the episodes in January at once, simultaneously Disney Plus and Hulu. It's also the first
Oh,
ever
both.
show.
I didn't realize it was both.
It's the first ever show that is under what is called Marvel Spotlight. Now, for those who may not be paying attention or know what this is, it is essentially the mature version of what Marvel TV is. And what they are doing is that anything that's under the Marvel Spotlight banner doesn't pay much attention to the MCU continuity as a whole. You
Bless.
don't need to know about it. So things
Wonderful.
like people have already been making comparisons to such like Moon Knight or Werewolf by Night, and maybe a few things here and there could have really fit under the Marvel Spotlight banner. Either way, it's beginning in January with Echo. Jill, I'll let you start us off. Thoughts on the trailer, Spotlight, everything.
I'm glad that we're getting another show that has nothing to do with the MCU, because people be like, Marvel fatigue is not a thing. Yes, it is. I am very much Marvel fatigued. So I'm glad that there is something where I don't need to be educated on 12 different other things that are happening simultaneously to understand what is happening with this. The trailer I loved because it reminded me of like the original Daredevil series, the one that was on Netflix, I think. Was it a Netflix series, that Daredevil series? Where it was just like super gritty, super raw. And I loved it. Like, I loved every second of it. I love that we're going to get like a mature show. Give me all the blood and guts. Sign me up. And I really loved her character in Hawkeye, Echo. So I'm really excited that we get to see more of her. Yeah, I have no complaints so far with what I've seen of this and what I've heard.
So people close to it have been saying that it's very much in line with what Netflix Daredevil is, but they're saying that the quote unquote the gun violence is they're trying to put it in the same vein as John Wick.
Oh my god!
Ooh.
Like maybe not like as violent as far as like the headshots and everything like that, but there's some really cool like gun action in the show. Is what I'm kind of getting from it. I echo what you said, Jill. If it's Daredevil and Punisher level for Netflix, I am 1,000% sold on this show. Like, no question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in this Marvel Spotlight idea because I'd seen some stuff about it, but I didn't really know what it is. But I feel like that's going to be difficult for general audience people to understand, like parents to understand that this is going to be more mature, more gun violence. I feel like parents are going to see their kids watching this and be like, "Oh my god, what are you watching?"
Which is why I'm surprised it's on. I'm surprised it's on Disney Plus and not just Hulu.
I'm curious. We won't know until they start doing it, but I'm curious if Spotlight is just mature, if it's just in general shows that aren't continuity related.
From what I saw, it has to do with continuity.
Okay, so if that's the case, then maybe things like, and I'm just throwing out a random hero, everybody, but someone like Squirrel Girl could be Marvel Spotlight.
Give me a Squirrel Girl show, though.
Right? Like
that would be fun.
Like that type of stuff. So just to kind of clear it up for your sake, Molly, that could clear up the thing for parents because you could get very fun, interesting things that has nothing to do with the Captain Marvels, the Doctor Stranges, the Black Panthers of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I liked the trailer and I liked her character in Hawkeye. I actually liked Hawkeye a lot. Like that show surprised me as far as how much I liked it, but I think it was just the chemistry between the main two characters. But I liked her. My one fear for this show is I don't want Kingpin to overshadow her character because this version of Kingpin has been really popular and I think he's doing a great job and I love him. And I was like, I just don't want him to, overtake this show and have it be more of his story than her story.
I have a feeling that, I mean, I don't think they're going to use him in all the trailers, but I don't think he's going to be in the show as much as we think he's going to be in the show. Because remember in Hawkeye, he was only in 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And it was more like an episode and a half, really, actually. Yeah. So, because we also have to keep in mind that, and we have to keep in mind, and the show is way off because they've been doing major restructuring to the show, but his show is basically Daredevil Born Again. So he's going to be in almost every single episode, if not every episode of that show. So they're probably not going to put him in this as much. I mean, he's going to be in it because his tie to Echo, but her story is so important, not just to like what they've kind of been telling as far as the street level stuff, but her heritage is like a big deal. It's
Yeah,
the first
yeah.
time we're
Mhm.
really seeing this inside the MCU, and we saw it in the trailer. And I love the shots we saw it in the trailer. It's just kind of like, you know, a tip of the iceberg of what we're going to see. But I think it looks awesome. I think
Mhm.
the tone looks great. She is awesome. You know, I love how much they're backing her. You know, because we spent a long time in Hollywood where, you know, deaf actors wouldn't get roles like this,
Yeah.
and she got a role, and they're giving her a show, and they're making her a spotlighted role, and as the first ever mature Marvel project. It's the first one that's going to be on Hulu. Like, it's kind of cool to see, and I'm super excited to see her against Vincent D'Onofrio. And there's a bunch of faces I recognize in the show that I'm excited to see in there as well. Obviously, I'm going to mention it, but I can't wait to see Daredevil in this show.
Obviously, like everyone's excited
He
for
was
that.
slightly in the trailer, but he's in the red suit. He's going to be kicking ass again. Yeah, I'm all about it. If they create this little tiny, like, and I'll just use it for lack of a better term because it's just what I know off the top of my head, but if they create this like Defenders style world in the actual MCU where Echo and Punisher and Daredevil and maybe a couple others, I'm so sold. Like, I'm so sold on that
Mhm.
idea. It's kind of like this mature street level hardcore burglary bad guy car chase style of the MCU. I am so in on that idea.
Yeah. Mhm.
I forgot that last time we saw Daredevil in a show was in She-Hulk, and I loved
Yeah.
his
Oh yeah.
walk of shame in that show was hilarious. So he if he pops up, then you know it's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see the style or what the character's like because he was so different in She-Hulk, and this show is so vastly different from She-Hulk.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like if there's one character right now that they're going to get right, it's Daredevil, just because of everything that's kind of been happening with him.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's super, super exciting. So
Yeah. I'm stoked for it. I just hope that they have the same, because one of my favorite things about the Netflix Daredevil series was that the fight scenes, he would like actually get tired.
Yep.
And like they were so realistic and not like the usual like Avengers fight scenes where everyone is just like going at it 100%, like 100% of the time. Like he would get tired after like 40 seconds of fighting, and it's like, yes. Like,
well, that's what I love about his world. It's not superpower related.
No,
like he has,
I mean,
right? Like he has heightened senses,
but
he's
yeah.
not. He's going to get exhausted because he doesn't have Steve Rogers' strength ability, or
Yeah.
he's not in an iron suit, right? Like he's
Yeah.
sure he can read heartbeats and stuff, but he's still a
He's
human.
He's a
Mhm.
person with
Like he's still a normal human. So.
Yeah.
I did just read that. So I forgot about the Disney Plus profiles. You have to have it set to TVMA in order to even access this show.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
and because I ran through this when it came on, but if you already did it for when Daredevil came on Disney Plus, you'll be fine. Because they had you do it for when they put the Netflix version on Disney Plus.
I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did.
Yeah,
remember
I
getting
had
an
to
alert
set
when I
mine just
signed
to be
in
able to
once.
watch that. So most people probably have it set already if they rewatched episodes of that. But yeah, if not, double check that because you're probably going to see a lot more mature stuff. Someone said it in the chat. They had you do it when they put Deadpool on Disney Plus, which for obvious reasons.
that makes sense.
Yeah. And we just learned also that Blade's going to be rated R. Deadpool 3 is going to be
It
rated
has
R.
to be.
So
You can't do a not.
So-
I mean, the amount of blood alone,
Yeah.
like you'd have
you
to
can't-
give that an R rating.
yeah, there's going to
Imagine
be a
a
lot
PG-13 Blade.
more mature stuff coming to Disney Plus. It looks like, which is cool. So,
Yay.
Cool.
all right. Well, speaking of mature, let's segue our way into the next topic tonight, and that is It Follows, one of the celebrated horror movies here on POV, because it seems like everybody else in the world hates it besides us. It Follows is getting a sequel, as I glare at Gabby because she hates It Follows.
It's stupid.
It Follows, a 2015 movie starring Micah Monroe, is getting a sequel called They Follow. And same director, Micah Monroe, is also returning. when you think of it, you're kind of like, oh, that's cool. Sequel, very small horror movie. It very popular, but cool. They're making a sequel. But when you actually watch the movie, you see the ending. It makes sense. They were still being followed.
Mhm.
So super interesting on how this is going to happen, what it's going to look like, what it's going to be like. Obviously, the title they follow, maybe multiple. Either way, I'm stoked because this is one of my favorite horror movies of the last like decade. I love this movie. I
It's
think I'm
great.
the one. I think I'm the one who set it up as a watch along here.
Yeah,
And,
and you told me to watch it for my 61 days.
Oh, that's what it
movies
was. Yeah.
too. Yeah. You're like, you need to watch this, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It's great.
I'm super excited. I think this movie's so good, and I can't wait to see what they do with the sequel.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to rewatch It Follows because I've seen it at least 2 or 3 times. But you know, if Gabby hates it so much, I really need to give it another shot and see if I still like it because I'm curious.
She's saying in the background, "Don't waste your time, Molly. There's so many other good movies."
But I was intrigued when they announced that this was going to get a sequel. And as far as I'm concerned, horror movies for me, like, you can go nuts with sequels. That does nothing about that bothers me because
We just watched the Friday the 13th series. And you like look at those sequels.
Exactly. Like if you're talking about slasher movies,
I just watched the Saw series.
Those and the Saw series, like those are gonna get tons of sequels because people will watch them no matter what. And yeah, if they're bad, you just chalk it up to being a cheesy, campy
fourth installment.
But people talked so highly about It Follows that this has potential to be a really solid sequel.
I love it because, and this is just the film nerd in me, is it's technically an indie film.
Yeah.
And that when it gets a follow-up movie 8 years later, you know it's popular. Like know it's been
cult
watched
following almost,
and it's been watched and talked about, and people are still just wanting more or maybe just continuing to watch it. Like that's when you know it's good. And it just kind of keeps up on this perch of like, okay, it's a steady pace for the last however long, is when they want to go back to it. It's not like the size of the Friday the 13th or the Nightmare on Elm Street or whatever it is. It was an indie film that hit a festival. People loved it. It did really well. And then for the last 8 years, it's been doing even better. And they're like, yeah, let's do a sequel.
I mean, they're, and that's probably why they did a sequel. They might be going like the Blumhouse route, where it's like, we're going to make a movie on the cheap, like very low budget. If it knocks it out of the park and it's a great movie, we make millions of dollars. If it's terrible, we only spent, $50,000 on this movie, so whatever. Like, so I think that's another reason why we are getting a sequel, is because I feel like they can do It Follows on such a small budget because there's no effects, there's nothing like super crazy. You don't need any A-list actors for an It Follows movie.
Half the time the it is invisible.
Yeah. And you can't see it, or if it's following you, it's like way in the distance.
And
it
just shows up as random people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It could be
changes.
Anybody.
Yeah.
Which
although
is
there's
like,
every so often it's like a super tall, like shadow-eyed thing, and it's terrifying.
Oh, that scene haunts me.
Yeah, the hallway scene. It's so
Yeah.
good. It's so good. Yeah.
Okay, so Andy in chat wants us to explain why we like it.
I can. For me, because I am also a big horror movie fan. And this one, there's no jump scares really. For me, it's just super unnerving. Like, because at first when the movie starts, you're like, oh, this is dumb. This is like a really dumb idea. Like I was saying before we went live, it's basically a movie about a spooky STD, right? Follows you around. Anyway, watch the movie. And so you're like, this is dumb. This is ridiculous. But then like, as it goes on and you just see far off into the back of the camera, just this person just slowly walking straight towards the camera and like not focused on them, but you like see them like going towards like the protagonist. Like it's just unnerving. And like it kind of makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Cause like, I don't know. It made me like be very aware of my surroundings. Like, oh God, what if, what if someone is just like walking towards me right now? It was just creepy.
Yeah, and the scene that when you talk about that, Jill, the scene is when she's in class.
She's in class,
and the woman just she's walking across the courtyard.
Yeah,
and it's just like, and the camera just sits there and watches this person walking across the courtyard.
And it's like nothing scary. Like that's not a scary thing. It's just like unnerving. It's like, oh God.
I just love how like almost simple it is.
Yeah.
Like it's just something that's walking towards you, right? And then if it touches you, it kills you.
Yeah.
And it's not like this over exaggerated monster or demon or something that's coming after you, right?
It's
like
not
there's
running after you. It's
not,
not...
like there's a way to get rid of it, but you will never know how to get rid of it, or if you're able to, if you're not in that situation. Like being in the situation is so different than not being in the situation. It's my type of horror movie because, in much to what Jill said, it's kind of psychological.
Yeah.
It really makes you think, and I like the word you use, unnerving.
Yeah.
It's just this very creepy, like, and it builds. It's like a building movie too, and that's what I love about it so much, is it just slowly builds over time.
Yeah.
And it's different. It's so different and unique to what we usually see too. So
it kind of invokes the same spirit that the Halloween movies do with Michael Myers. The fact that he never runs anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, he's just a slow, unstoppable force that, you know, like wherever he's headed, he's gonna get there.
Yeah.
And like the best horror movies really do a good job at showcasing a complete absence of hope. And so it's like, yeah, you can give this problem to someone else, but it will never stop. And like,
and it can come back to you.
That is a scary thought. Yeah, and it can circle back.
It can come back to you.
That is and like those people are just gonna have to deal with that forever until they die. And that's a terrifying thought.
Yeah. I completely forgot about that. Is like, even if you pass it on,
if that person dies, it goes back to you.
Yeah, like it's not. You're never
safe.
away from it. You're never away from it. Oof.
Like, man. So that is like it's like that thinking, or it's like you're never truly away from it. It could be anybody, because it takes the form of literally anybody on the planet. It could look like an old lady or a child, so you don't even know what this thing.
Well, we saw the kid's mom. It turned into the kid's mom.
Yeah. So like it's just unnerving.
That whoever is dealing with that issue could never just walk down a street where people are walking towards them, because it could be any one of them and they wouldn't realize that they're coming after them.
I'd become Bubble Boy in a heartbeat.
I would just live at Disneyland. You can't come in without a ticket, sir.
What if they would change into someone with a uniform or something.
Oh no, they would become a cast member. You see Mickey Mouse walking towards you in the distance.
No, Mickey. Not you. Not like this.
My plan's been ruined.
All right, we'll picking off of this. We're talking about a sequel that we didn't expect, but we're happy to get. So Jill brought up the brilliant idea of, why not talk about sequels that have never happened, movies that have never gotten sequels that we think either deserve them or we want to see sequels for. This conversation can go so many different ways because we all have different opinions here. And so chat, make sure you are also throwing some ideas out there. There's probably going to be overlap because a lot of big movies that we've seen in the past have never gotten sequels that I'm sure will get brought up. I'll mention the one right now that I've mentioned dozens of times on this channel, but Tron Legacy is not getting a direct sequel, and I'm very pissed about it. Moving on. It's the only time I have to mention that. But Jill, I'll let you start this conversation off, and we'll kind of just go around the table, hang out, talk about these movies, and see which ones get brought up. But why don't you kick us off, Jill?
Well, I can start with the one that was on the thumbnail, so it's not really, because it's already there, and so we should talk about it. Sky High deserves about 19 sequels.
Yeah.
I am so ready for that movie to honestly have a Disney Plus series. It is so ripe for the pickings of a Disney Plus series, because you could there doesn't need to be like a main character. You could follow anybody at that school, like a different like hero or sidekick per episode.
Mhm.
Like there's so many things you could do with that world. I love that movie so much. I think it was supposed to get a sequel and it just never happened, which is so unfortunate.
It's that's Disney's. They don't give sequels to live action movies, which sucks.
Other than
Mhm.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Other than Pirates of the Caribbean, well, that made $1 billion. So
Made millions upon millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sky High is
I love
Sky
it.
High is actually number 2 on my list. But
I think it's a great
seen
choice.
Sky High.
Molly, you need to see Sky High.
I'm sorry.
That would be a really fun watch along movie.
That would
Sky
be a
High's
fun
awesome.
watch along. That would be fun.
Yeah, Jill, you're right. You could do anything with that movie. I mean, you could
Mhm.
because there are obviously main characters and like the commander, Kurt Russell's character, the commander, the hero.
Mhm.
He's like the guy. You can do one on him if you really wanted to. You can have Kurt Russell's son Wyatt Russell play him if you wanted to. There's an idea. Or you can do it on the kids. And I like the idea of a series. I wouldn't mind another movie. It's just such an interesting, cool thing. And it's funny when I was doing my research, and the reason I put it on the thumbnail is because this article, the article was why Sky High deserves a sequel, the only superhero movie to never get one. Because every other superhero movie seems to get a sequel.
Pretty
at this
much, even if
point.
it's a crappy sequel.
Yeah, like there's
Mhm.
obviously some here and there that don't, but most superhero movies these days get one.
Mhm.
So I feel like if it was released any time over the last like 15 years or so, it probably would have had one. But I'm with you. I think Sky High definitely needs one.
It would basically be a kid's version of Gen V, like
A much lighter,
a children's version of Gen V. Like
Gen
it's
V is, oh my god, that show.
right for the pickings. So
Go watch Gen V, everybody. That show's wild.
But that's on my list. I have like I said, I have a list.
No,
so.
that's fine. That's fine. So Molly, you have not seen that. What is something that you would like to see a sequel for?
I mean, well, another one that was on the thumbnail, Solo.
Yeah.
I am pro sequel to Solo.
Mhm.
Doesn't necessarily have to be marketed as like Solo 2, the sequel, It could be a Disney Plus show. It could be like about Crimson Dawn, about Kira, about the gritty underworld of Star Wars. But I feel like some version of a Solo 2 would do really well. I think all the characters were set up perfectly, and I think it would do great. And people say no because the Solo marketing was trash and it didn't make as much money, blah blah blah. But that was like a whole big other deal.
Don't market at Denny's, Disney.
Don't market at Denny's. Don't release movies so close to each other, but they had to make their money back. But yeah, I would love to see that. And I have seen some rumblings about the Lando movie kind of having some Solo 2-esque connections. So if we get some connections to Solo in the Lando movie, that would be great too.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would love to see a continuation. Although, and I would be happy for anything regarding any of those characters, but I would love to get Alden Ehrenreich back.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
He was so good as Han.
Yeah, I really enjoyed his take on a younger Han. I thought he had so much fun with it. Yeah, I think the movie was just in a bad spot to begin with, and it just never recovered. If it was released at a later time or given a little bit of space, maybe it would have helped it. But I'm definitely pro Solo 2 that includes Han and Chewie. I'm not against Lando, not against Kira, because I would love to see them all, but I would love to see Alden Ehrenreich back.
Me too.
Very much.
100%.
All right. Well, there's a bunch of mine that have been thrown in the chat, so I'm just gonna pick one before they get thrown out there anymore. Another one that was on the thumbnail, and one that I've been wanting for a very long time is Dredd with Carl Urban.
He's too busy.
He is too busy. He's doing way too much. He's The Boys. He's in Mortal Kombat. He's just too busy doing stuff. Dredd. It was originally titled Dredd 3D because it came out in 3D. But this movie is so much fun. It is such an interesting take on this character. It was the better version of this character in what I believe was a better movie, because the original one with Sly Stallone was pretty bad. And I think he was perfect for the character. I mean, it's very hard to it's very hard to have your star not ever show his face and it be successful, and this movie did that. I just loved how creative it was and how different it was. He clearly enjoyed doing it. There was just so many issues behind the scenes with it. You know, the director that was actually credited wasn't really the director. It was like this whole thing that went down with the movie. I don't know if we'll ever get one. I don't think we will, which is kind of a bummer, but I would absolutely love to see a sequel to Dread. Have either of you seen it?
I think I saw it once, but I couldn't tell you anything about it.
I have not seen it.
Okay. Lena Headey is that's how you say her name. She's the main villain. She plays Mama in the movie. Yeah.
Was this the movie that was in Inner Geekdom in the Schmodown?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then Alex probably watched it. I may have seen some of it because it sounds familiar, but
have you seen the Raid movies?
Yes.
So the first Raid movie, how they kind of like go up a building, it's very similar in that fashion. Like he has to go up a building.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
To get to the top essentially. It's pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'd be down for that.
I don't remember anything about it.
Oh, it's so good.
I saw it. I'm pretty sure I saw it, but I don't remember.
All right, Jill, before we get to you, I'm going to get to a super chat real quick, just so we don't lose track of it. This one's from D-Train. Thank you, D-Train, for the donation here. Spider-Man 2, the PS5 game, is a top 5 game. Best use of Venom by a mile compared to the live-action movies. Miles Morales should be considered one of the best characters in fandom history.
I don't disagree with the Venom comment. Venom's great in that game.
I haven't played it, haven't seen anything from it, so I can't say much.
I didn't see Alex play the whole game, but the stuff that I did see was pretty cool. And yes, Miles Morales is a fantastic addition to the Spider-Man lore.
I saw that they confirmed that he's the official Spider-Man in the Insomniac world.
Correct. Yes.
That's cool. I like that. Or not the official, the main Spider-Man, I should say.
Correct.
That's cool. I like that.
Correct.
All right, Jill, take it on. What do you got?
Do you want me to read my whole list or just what is next on my
one?
list?
We got some time, so let's go and do one. We'll talk about it.
Number 1 on my list is District 9. District 9. I am so pissed that we never got a District 10 because that movie is so freaking good. Like, it's one of like the only like alien kind of movies that like I actually really like. And it ended in a way where you could very easily have a sequel. And I'm mad that they haven't made one.
I haven't seen that movie in so long. I remember
I haven't
seeing it
either.
in theaters.
Oh, good. I saw it in theaters.
I remember really liking it, but
So good.
I couldn't tell you what the sequel could be about.
I have one word why it didn't happen, Jill.
Why?
Chappie.
Fuck Chappie. They should have just made District 10.
Neil Blomkamp decided to get all creative and do a bunch of stuff. He did Elysium with Matt Damon. He did Chappie, which was god awful.
Could have done a District 10. Made $1 million.
But I will say this. I very much differ in the sense that I am not a District 9 fan whatsoever.
Oh.
I don't know what it was. I've
so
only seen it the one time. I caught it later. So maybe the hype was too high. I don't know. I was not a fan.
Maybe it's because I'm a sucker for like the documentary style filming of movies.
For sure.
But,
I might just not be a Neil Blomkamp fan because I haven't liked any of his stuff.
District 9 is brilliant.
I don't hate Elysium, but I don't really like I don't think I'll ever go back to it. I think I should revisit District 9 at some point. I'll never ever watch Chappie ever again in the history of my life. That movie is terrible.
I don't know anything about that movie.
It's about like a robot.
It has Hugh Jackman
and
Nicole
robot.
Kidman, maybe, and it's about a gangster robot essentially.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is sounding familiar.
It's bad. It's real bad.
Oh no.
But Blomkamp was supposed to make an Alien movie, and it never happened.
Like Alien franchise Alien?
Yeah, like a legit original style Alien movie, and it never happened, which I was kind of bummed about because he's the type of director that could definitely make that. But he's doing something. Oh, he just did Gran Turismo, which I haven't seen yet. So I'm interested to seeing if I like that for him being the director, obviously. So, but yeah, I have to revisit District 9. I wasn't a fan of it.
Oh, it's so good. It's just so good.
I know, I'm
and
sorry.
then the marketing for it was so good.
I'm sorry.
Because you would go into like theaters and like signs on the bathroom and signs on the theater doors would say like no prawns or like whatever they called the alien. Like the marketing was just.
If they were called prawns,
So
that is so wrong. Because
they're called prawns.
I just think about shrimp.
Well,
Yeah.
because that's what they called them, because it was supposed to be like a derogatory term
Yeah.
because they look like shrimp. So yeah, it's so good. It's so
Rude.
good. Right? How dare they? And they were so nice. Like they were just trying to get home. Like it's such a good movie.
I'll try to revisit it at some point. I think it's been long enough to where I can.
Rewatch.
Sorry,
it.
Jill.
It's okay. If you don't like it, I'm not gonna hate you for it. It's fine.
Thank you.
I'll just be a little bit sad, but it's okay.
All right, Molly. What's another one?
I couldn't really think of too many, but I did see Jane put The Nice Guys.
Yes, it's on my list. Oh my god.
That movie is so good.
It's so good.
And
so good.
It's actually really fun to rewatch, and I like that has become one of our holiday rewatch movies.
That's a Christmas movie for me.
Yeah. It's hilarious. Like the main characters have such good chemistry. It's like it's one of those like perfect films that kind of came out of nowhere and surprised a lot of people. But for me, that also kind of makes me weary of a sequel. I was like, don't mess up what was already great, you know. There's always potential to mess up the name of something with a bad sequel, but I don't know. I think if they could pull that off, it'd be great.
It's such a fun movie. Gosling and Crowe were so perfectly casted. And just like how outrageous it is in what they're doing, and yeah, like you said, the chemistry between the two of them. Movie's so good. I have to revisit that. I gotta watch it.
And the little girl is funny too.
Her name. Oh my god, what's her name? Angourie Rice. She was in the Spider-Man movies. She was just in something else that I watched too, a TV series.
That movie came out in 2016. Yeah, Shane Black. It's such a Shane Black movie.
Agreed. It absolutely is. It honestly might be my favorite Shane Black movie. I'd have to go back and revisit all of them, but it might be my favorite. Could be wrong, but
I've never seen it.
Jill, you'd probably enjoy it.
I'm sure I would.
Yeah, it's a lot of
better
fun.
Did you like it better than Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like it more than Kiss, and I love Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, but I don't know what it was about The Nice Guys, but it came out and it just hit me perfectly.
Yeah.
Whether it was the timing or where I was in life, it just hit me perfectly. I'll mention another one that's in the chat. Another one that I've been wanting for a very long time, and I feel like might have a chance at being made. I got to find the comment. Hold on. Where'd it go? Blake said, I need a Real Steel 2. Real Steel is the live-action Rock'em Sock'em Robots. With Hugh Jackman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman, Evangeline Lilly, a couple of other people as well.
Right.
And the reason why I bring this up, and the reason why I will always hold out hope, is because it was directed by Sean Levy. And Sean Levy is very, very popular right now, but he's also directing Hugh Jackman in Deadpool 3 currently.
Wow.
So I think there's always going to be a possibility for this movie to be made. It doesn't have to be made right away. You can pick back up 5-10 years later with these same characters. But I thought the movie was so cool. Live action Rock'em Sock'em Robots, like, are you kidding me? That is so badass.
Yeah.
I remember Fighting League? Like a robot fighting league?
trailers for it. Yeah.
It's so cool.
I didn't
Never
see
saw
that,
it.
but I
Didn't see it,
remember
but I remember.
I remember seeing trailers for it. It came out around the same time as like a lot of the Transformers sequels were coming out.
It was,
and
I think it came out like
Transformers
2013. So yeah, around the Transformers stuff. Yeah.
2011.
Oh, 2011. Okay. Yeah. Even better.
But it was like around the time where Transformers was really, really popular and getting sequels and stuff. And so like robots were just really big then.
They were. There's a scene in the movie that gets me hyped so much as like a competitor. The very end when Hugh Jackman's fighting again. Oh, So good. It's also a really good father-son relationship movie, so can't beat those.
Bo, come watch Real Steel. Come
He's
watch
right here.
this.
He's right here looking at me. So
Bo, you're gonna watch Real Steel.
we're gonna watch a lot of movies.
You're gonna get sick of them. Sick of movies. No more movies.
All right, Jill. What is up next?
Let me pull out my list. Hang on. What do I
Or
have?
Molly, if you're
I
ready.
need
Either way.
to- Well, I saw one that when I was reading about It Follows and then They Follow, I was like reading an article and they brought up Parasite, and I was like, I don't know how they would do a sequel to that, but I loved that movie. Maybe if
They
they
could
did a
probably
prequel or
do
something.
a similar storyline that maybe isn't the direct sequel, but is in the same world.
Yeah, because part of what makes that movie so good is like the twist,
Yeah.
and so I don't know if they could pull off a sequel, but that would be cool.
We've seen tons of movies that what am I thinking of currently that like and not to say that they're as good as Parasite, but the Cloverfield movies. Where it's all Cloverfield, but they're all very different scenarios, right? Like you could do this a very similar thing with Parasite,
Yeah.
which would kind of be cool, like a Parasite universe, but not always the same story. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Go for it, Jill.
I want more Cabin in the Woods.
Oh
Yeah.
A sequel.
Ooh.
A
Before
sequel,
everything got destroyed?
a mini series, a sequel. Give me like a Flanagan style, like spooky series of the Cabin in the Woods
with updated possible villains and stuff.
So
with
would you
updated villains, or it could be like a prequel thing where it's them like coming up with.
Well, it would
stuff.
have to be, right? Didn't everything get destroyed at the end?
It did, yes. So
Everything. It would have to
either
be a prequel, no matter what.
we shall rebuild, and they can like make a new one. It's been like
Yeah.
The
been
new
like a
one is
decade.
set on Mars.
Honestly,
like-
I love the idea of almost going back and seeing like successful missions from the agency.
Yeah, because obviously they've done successful ones before.
Well, they have they're betting, and they're
Yes.
it's like a Super Bowl party in there.
Yeah. So like either a sequel or a Flanagan style spooky series of Cabin in the Woods.
I mean, a series would be cool. I would love the movie idea because Drew Goddard, who co-wrote or maybe co-directed, was a part of that, and I love him as a director. He did Bad Times at El Royale a few years ago with Chris Hemsworth. He was supposed to do a Sinister Six movie back in the day, never happened. I would love to see him tackle it again because you can be so creative and different, and it would be nothing like the original movie. Nothing.
No. Yeah, you could have a lot of fun with that one.
You 100% could.
I think the only issue might run into is that without Joss Whedon, because Joss has been kind of canceled, so
just kick him up.
I'm sure they could create something great just off the idea alone. I don't know if he would have to sign off on it.
What would you call it, Jill?
I'm not creative like that. I don't know.
What if it's not in a cabin? What if it's like
mansion in the woods, Airbnb in the woods, bed and breakfast in the woods,
like a trailer in the park or something?
Yeah, they could put it anywhere.
Tent in the woods.
They could put it anywhere. It could be an outhouse in the middle of fucking nowhere.
RV camper in the woods.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's what you could do if it's a series, and then each episode is a different place in the woods.
Oh, it's just a different monster killing each time.
Bed and breakfast in the woods. Done.
Fair.
That would be fun.
I like that one. That's good.
It's so fun to think of just horror movies that could get sequels, because then I feel like I'm always on board.
There's so many. The one that I feel like gets talked about a lot, and I don't pay attention to like this side of the conversation, but I feel like people talk about Trick or Treat a lot.
Yeah. So apparently there's been a sequel in the works for that for a long time.
Yeah.
And it might actually be getting made. I don't know. Perry Nemiroff actually recently interviewed
I saw that.
I follow her still. I saw all that stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, and talked to him, which was a really cool interview. But I'm still holding out hope that that'll get a sequel at some point.
What's the main character's name?
Sam,
Sam.
the little
The little
guy.
pumpkin dude. Yeah, the little pumpkin dude. Yeah.
Yeah, Sam. I just Googled movies that deserve a sequel to get ideas. Step Brothers, hear me out. I love that movie.
I
That
do
would
too.
I don't know if they could pull off a sequel to that because it's been so long, but I don't know if it would do as well.
Here's the thing with Step Brothers is that if they did a sequel, it would be something stupid in the line of like other comedy sequels would be like, it's about the children of the Step Brothers, and like it would like
Yeah, you know what they would be called stepfathers.
yeah. They would
I would
screw it up
hope
somehow.
I would hope that between the John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell that they would still make it about them because like they're the big stars, right? Like they're the reason to come back to that story.
I would almost just like to see them do a third comedy movie because they did Talladega Nights,
Mhm.
and they did Step Brothers. Just make it a trio. Do this weird, wacky John C. Reilly.
Well, they also did the hot garbage. God.
Oh, they did the their Holmes one, huh?
Yeah, Holmes.
Yeah. Holmes and Watson.
That story's played out though. Like they shouldn't have gone with that story as a base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Beetlejuice. Like if you could get all the original actors that was
They're doing it.
They are.
Wait, what?
Winona Ryder and Michael Keaton are back, and it's Jenna Ortega.
Jenna Ortega.
Oh wait, I did know that.
Yeah,
because I remember seeing set pictures of Winona Ryder in her red dress uniform. And I was like, wait, what?
When I was doing research, I realized a lot of these articles were dated because a lot of the movies that were on the list they're being made. So a lot of the movies that are being listed have sequels that are in process or being talked about or whatever it might be.
Also, a lot of movies on these lists are just classics that
shouldn't be touched.
I don't want to mess with. Yeah, it's hard to ride that line.
I'm gonna run through my list quickly.
I'm just like looking on the.
I'm gonna name a bunch. So John Carter, I would love to see it. I don't think they'll ever do it.
It won't. But
they screwed that up.
Yeah.
I am a pro Speed Racer fan so much. I would love to see a Speed Racer sequel. Mystery Men, which is the Ben Stiller superhero movie.
I feel like they were gonna do a sequel to that.
Oh my god, I would love to see a sequel to that movie with the Shoveler. Oh, what a great superhero name. Alita Battle Angel, which is Robert Rodriguez and James Cameron, which I do think is going to happen at some point. Unfortunately, I think it might happen after all the Avatar movies because James Cameron's a producer.
So in 2036?
Yeah, it's going to be forever, which sucks, but it's going to be forever. The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which Henry Cavill, the only issue is you'd have to recast Armie Hammer. But I really, really, really like that movie a lot, and I think it would be a really cool franchise. The A-Team, which was Liam Neeson and Bradley Cooper when they were Army vets. Atomic Blonde with Charlize Theron, which is basically her version of John Wick. Would love to see that.
Great.
And then Jumper with Hayden Christensen. I think that would be a sick sequel.
Could be.
Put Hayden in more things.
Yeah, facts.
Mm-hmm. All right, I've only got 4 left on my list. I put Megamind for anyone who has not seen that DreamWorks animated film.
I've never seen Megamind.
It's really good, and I think it has the makings for like you could do a lot with a sequel. Because like all the other DreamWorks films get like 9 million sequels. Give me a Megamind sequel. A movie that was supposed to get a sequel, but then something happened. I think with Spielberg and something where they didn't do it and they couldn't do it. Roger Rabbit. Give me another Roger Rabbit movie. Yeah, you have thoughts. You have thoughts.
Just how would you do it, I guess?
I mean, you could do it with all the modern cartoons. Like, it wouldn't just be like...
So would it not be a Roger Rabbit movie?
No, it'd still be Roger Rabbit, but you could do it with Roger Rabbit with like more modern.
You could do Who
cartoons.
Murdered Roger Rabbit.
No, because we love Roger. and we get more. And we get more Jessica. We get more
Roger
Jessica
in.
Rabbit. Like that's all I really
Who
care
didn't
about.
frame Roger Rabbit?
Who didn't frame Roger Rabbit? Just give me more Jessica Rabbit. That's all I really care about.
Yeah, I think
this
there's
one.
It's possible to do that, especially
They were
because, like you
supposed
said,
to.
that you could insert so many new characters from modern cartoons in it that it
You
would have
realize
to be
how
a good
many-
story.
Are you guys realizing how many live action Disney movies we're mentioning?
Yes. I don't think
There's
I. Oh wait,
so
no. My
many
next
live
one.
action Disney movies.
My
we're
next
mentioning.
one's a live action Disney movie, which already has a sequel, but I would like a third installment. And there has been talks of a third installment. Give me that Princess Diaries 3. I'm ready. I'm waiting for it.
That movie series does have a cult following.
Wait,
Like,
there's a second Princess Diaries?
yes, it has.
Oh
Chris
no,
Pine in
sorry.
it.
I mixed up Princess Diaries and Princess Bride. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
Sorry.
it has Chris Pine. It has.
They're 100% doing a third movie. 100%.
I'm pretty sure they are.
When
I know
is the
that
last
Anne
time we've
Hathaway.
seen Anne Hathaway in anything?
I know that Anne Hathaway and Julie Andrews are both on board for it.
Yeah. Now the question is, Jill, now being a fan that you are, would you get Chris Pine back?
Well, they get married, so unless something happened in that relationship where he is,
I'm saying,
no
like, would
longer
you
the
bring him
king.
back or would you not?
Yeah, why not? I love Chris Pine.
Okay.
Bring him back. He just voiced a villain for the new Disney film that's coming out, so like,
Yeah, Wish.
it's not like he wouldn't do it. And then my final one,
He's okay.
which I really, really, really hope it's a newer film. I really hope they do a sequel to it, but I don't know if it did well enough in the box office to get a sequel. Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Oh, they're definitely gonna do it.
Give me a sequel.
They'll do it.
that one.
It made a butt ton of money. They'll do it.
That one did. I think they pulled that off in a way that, like, they could have really run that movie into the ground, and they
Oh yeah.
they pulled it off, and they set it up to
It was
potentially
so
have a
fun.
sequel. And like,
It was so
yeah,
fun.
the world of Dungeons and Dragons, there's so much to pull from
Mhm.
for a sequel.
I think it's just a matter of time. It made a ton of money. It was, and not that it matters, but it was over like 85% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It was
Like
so
it was
good.
a
It
total
was just a good
success.
time.
It's the first. I feel like it's the first fantasy video game, and please don't hunt me down, people, but I may not be thinking of everything. The fantasy game that is like successful as a movie, because Warcraft wasn't a success.
Sonic.
You know, well, like maybe like board game, I should say.
Oh, like an RPG.
Yeah, because Warcraft was a total bust, and
Well,
it could have
they-
been incredible.
Yeah.
But
They got lucky because Stranger Things
Yeah.
revived
Yeah.
D&D to the general audience
point.
like crazy. So
Yeah.
good
after
point.
Stranger Things, everybody knew what a Demogorgon was. Everybody,
Mhm.
had a vague idea of what Dungeons and Dragons was and what it's like. So I think that really helped.
Yeah. It was
Very
the
good point.
timing was perfect for it.
Yeah. Well, any other titles, guys, before we start to wrap it up?
That's my list.
I mean, honestly, if you did research, you can go through an entire, like, you can talk about this forever if you really wanted to. I see people mentioning reboots and stuff in the chat. Maybe that's another conversation we have at some point. I saw Alan's comment on The Last Starfighter. Alan, I think a complete remake would be best because of modern technology.
I did see in the chat also an Aragon reboot. They
I
are
saw that
doing
too.
they are doing a series, so they are already rebooting Aragon. So I was gonna put Aragon on my list, but they are already it's getting rebooted as a television series with the writer of the books as like one of the head people. So it should actually be good, hopefully.
That's what I see a lot more book to TV or movie adaptations doing. They're bringing the authors involved, and the
Yeah,
one
they
that
need
stands
to.
out right now is the Percy Jackson
Percy
series,
Jackson.
which I believe is going to be really good because of that.
Mhm.
Use them to your ability. Like if you have them, use them.
Yeah,
Like,
if they're
that's
there.
biggest thing you can do.
Oh, Andy also, I
said
agree with Crazy Rich Asians.
Crazy Rich Asians is such a good one.
I
That
love
he
that
said that
movie.
Jumper and Stardust.
Love
Yeah.
Crazy Rich Asians. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. So good.
We use that song as our wedding.
Which
Oh.
one?
The one at the very end, at the wedding, I think, is the wedding.
Oh,
song.
with a fancy wedding and like
Yeah.
with the water and like the
Mhm.
lake. Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah.
That's a pretty one.
D Train says a sequel to Inception. Absolutely not. I'm sorry. I hard disagree. I respect your opinion, but I hard disagree.
That would be a hard movie to do a sequel for.
It is a perfect ending.
Yeah.
Perfect ending. It's one of my all-time favorite movies, so I just don't think it should be touched.
I feel like after I saw that movie in theaters, I think I watched it one more time and I was just like, this hurts my brain to think about. And it wasn't that I didn't like the story or the movie. I was just like spending the whole time slightly confused.
I shouldn't
felt
be
that
thinking
way
this
after-
much in a movie.
I felt that way after Interstellar.
Yeah. Same,
That-
but I mean it was a gorgeous film to watch.
For sure.
But yeah, I was also kind of like, what am I seeing here?
All right, everyone. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up tonight. A fun sequel conversation. I think, the success of this one warrants a possible remake and then possible reboot discussion.
Yeah.
Just kind of continue on, later on at some point, maybe not next week or the week after, but at some point pick up those conversations and see what we can do.
We'll
But
put
for
a
now,
pin
we're
in
gonna
it.
wrap it up. Quickly. You can find us on Patreon. Got all kinds of stuff down there. Trivia, Q&As, TV reactions. Our Loki reactions are going on right now, which are a lot of fun. We're going to be recording the Q&A later this week, so that'll be up just shortly. Go
I
and check
do
it
have
out.
something coming up on Saturday.
All the links are in the
Ooh.
description. Then I'll throw it to Jill before we wrap it up because something really, really cool is coming down the pipeline for you, you D&D fans.
Yeah, speaking of D&D, Sean has been working very, very hard for the past couple of months, actually, working on a new show for his Twitch channel, and I believe he created like an actual like YouTube channel for it as well. He is bringing together 4 people who have either never played D&D before or people who have kind of just dipped their toe into it. It's a show called Rookies and Rulebooks. It's going to be airing the first episode. There it is. Da-da-da. It is going to be airing its first episode this Saturday. He has put a lot of work into this. I'm really excited for you guys to meet my character. She has a Scottish accent. We'll see how long that lasts. But that's going to be this Saturday. Sean's announcing all of the players on his Twitter. I am obviously one of them. So it'll be fun. If you are a D&D lover, if you've never experienced it, come hang out with us. Come see how this campaign goes. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
And we'll be posting it, retweeting and everything on the POV stuff. So check that out there. If you don't follow Sean, go do so, of course. And before it gets crazy here in my household, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching so much. We appreciate you all. And we will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.